1 in 4 Americans say that someone has used a gun to threaten them or their immediate family. My name is Jared Ollick, and I will be telling you today about the impacts, both positive and negative, of guns in the United States. By the end of this speech, you should have a clear understanding of reasons for and against American gun ownership. Guns do have significant potential benefit, as well as substantial harmful effects if used improperly. This is important to understand because everybody listening to this is in college, which means you relatively recently turned 18. Now that you're 18, you have multiple choices and decisions to make that you didn't have before. Those, of course, being the right to vote, so who would you like to vote for, and the right to own a gun, so would you like to do that or not? It's important to be informed and make informed, educated decisions in both of these aspects. To help you do that, I'm going to be talking about guns used for personal security and enjoyment, gun use in mass shootings, and gun use in suicide attempts. To start, let's look at some of the reasons to own a gun. The main two reasons people give for their gun ownership are hunting and personal protection. In fact, according to a survey released in 2019 by the Pew Research Center, more than 2/3 of gun owners say that the main reason they choose to own a gun is for protection, and another 30% cite hunting as the main reason that they own a gun. In terms of personal protection, it makes total sense. Owning a gun can certainly save someone from being robbed or attacked because they have the means to effectively defend themselves from an aggressor. The second big reason, using a gun to hunt, provides no immediate harm to the humans, only to the animals, and can be quite enjoyable and even yield food if the hunters choose to eat what they kill, if they are successful, and if they are legally allowed to do so. Now that we know some of the main reasons to own a gun, we can take a look at some of the harmful drawbacks as well. The first one of those are gun use in mass shootings. In an interview hosted by NPR in 2019, Mark Bryant, director of the Gun Violence Archives, a nonprofit that tracks and reports mass shootings in the United States, stated that in 2019, over 400 mass shootings occurred. A mass shooting is defined by the Gun Violence Archives as a shooting in which 4 or more people were shot or killed, excluding the shooter, him or herself. This form of gun violence is the most publicized and criticized effect of gun ownership in America, and the loss, tragedy, and pain that guns are a part of in mass shootings cannot be ignored. Now that we know one way that guns are used harmfully, we can take a look at another, which is suicide. Guns are the most common choice for those attempting suicide and are very effective as tools in completing a suicide attempt. The majority of gun deaths in the United States have long been due to suicide, and in research published by the 2003 edition of the Journal of Epidemiology and Community Health found that firearms have a drastic increase on the successful completion of suicide attempts. Suicide by gun is about 30% more likely to be deadly than other common suicide methods. In research released in 2019 by the Pew Research Center, about 24,000 Americans commit suicide by gun every year. If these 24,000 Americans decided to commit suicide but did not have easy access to a gun, we can assume that their attempts would be about 30% less successful, which would save about 8,000 American lives every year. After hearing this speech, you should have a clear understanding of the benefits and reasons for gun ownership, as well as some of the harmful effects. Guns clearly have great benefit, as well as substantial harmful effects when used improperly. Guns can be used for personal security and enjoyment in the form of hunting, but they're also used in mass shootings and are extremely effective and popular choices in suicide attempts. While 1 in 4 Americans say that they have personally been threatened by a gun, gun ownership is still very fiercely protected as a right of Americans, and we must continuously determine whether the protection and benefits that guns yield are worth the threat they also provide. Thank you.